Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, tonight a man stands trial not just for what happened in the dark, rainy night of the February 26, 2012, but for daring to protect himself when no one else would. George Zimmerman never asked to be a hero. He did not wake up that morning craving confrontation or bloodshed. He woke up a neighborhood watchman, tried, trained, certified, and committed to keeping his community safe. But by nightfall, he would be portrayed as a villain by a world desperate for someone to blame. Let's start with what we do not dispute. George Zimmerman killed Trayvon Martin, but we do not convict someone simply for causing death. We convict based on intent, provocation, and reasonable fear. And every shred of evidence tells us the same thing. Zimmerman acted in self defense. On a rain slicked Florida night, George Zimmerman, a God fearing man, spotted a shadow moving through the retreat at Twin Lakes. A hooded figure, unknown, pacing with urgency. In the neighborhood rattled by recent break ins, Zimmerman saw a pattern, not a race. He floored his training, called the non-emergency line, and watched from a distance. When the figure Trayvon Martin ran, Zimmerman left his car to keep him in sight, not to confront, but to ensure police had a location. The dispatcher's advice to stay put was not a command, it was a suggestion. Zimmerman says Martin circled back, confronted him, and launched a brutal assault. Fist flying, a head slammed into the concrete, breath stolen by fear, trapped beneath. Zimmerman screamed. Neighbors heard the cries. Then a single shot cracked through the air. Silence. The prosecution painted Zimmerman, who has religious affiliation, as a self-appointed vigilant driven by a thirst for control. But the truth lays in the scars on his head, the consistency in his timeline, the desperate call for help. In that violent moment, it was not hatred that pulled the trigger, it was raw human survival. Honorable jury, Miss Janital is clearly a grieving young man. We respect her pain, but this case must be decided on facts, not emotions. She changed her story. She waited weeks to come forward. She lied to Trayvon's family, which challenges her credibility to witness. She admitted she could not hear everything because the connection was interrupted and the voices were fading in and out. She was not an eyewitness. She accepted that she is smart enough, though she talked different. Her own words show confusion and uncertainty. Your Honor, the exhibit 10 showed that the Trayvon Martin was a gangster. He was a drunkard. He involved in illegal, uh, illegal activities like in the trading of the marijuana and revolvers. Your Honor, how we can convict a man based on story full of holes and inconsistencies? The honorable jury, you heard that the Dr. Gina Simmons may have come to this courtroom under the title of expert, but under the cross examination, the reality of her testimony unraveled. She openly admitted she is not a forensic psychologist. She has never testified in criminal trial and did not clinically evaluate the George Zimmerman in any professional capacity. Her conclusions were not based on direct interviews or scientific forensic protocols, but on the behavioral theories and second-hand material. She acknowledged her analysis relied heavily on the Zimmerman's deposition and public information, and that she formed her opinions before even receiving case materials from the prosecution. She admitted her expertise lies in the marriage counseling, not a criminal psychology, and her evaluation was rooted in theory, not diagnosis. Her testimony was not objective, not grounded in clinical science, not supported by a direct evidence. And when someone's liability is at stake, justice demands more than abstract speculation. It demands fact, and Dr. Simons brought none. You also heard from the Frank Taffe, a long-time neighbor and a friend of the Joel Zimmerman, who testified to Mr. Zimmerman's deep commitment to community safety. Mr. Taffe described the Zimmerman as a man with a strong sense of the justice and someone who volunteered his time, patrolled his neighborhood regularly, and looked out for the others when the few were willing to step up. He told how the Zimmerman, despite being labeled as a vigilant by others, was genuinely trying to make his neighborhood safe, especially in an area affected by a gang activity and frequent breaks in. Mr. Taffy testified that on the night of the incident, he saw a Trayvon Martin walking unsteadily, possibly under the influence, and Zimmerman calmly following him at a distance. He recalling hearing the cries for help, cries he believed came from the Zimmerman, and just moments later, a gunshot. He admitted he was afraid and did not intervene, but his testimony confirmed that the Zimmerman was the one calling for help, not initiating the violence. His perspective as a neutral community member, someone who knew both Zimmerman and Martin, supported the defense account that the George Zimmerman acted out of the fear and not the aggression. And let us not forget, Your Honor, the legal standard. The prosecution must provide beyond a reasonable doubt that the Zimmerman did not act in self defense. They have not. And they could not. Instead, they want you to punish the George Zimmerman for what might have happened, for how the media spun the story, for what this case came to symbolize. But this courtroom is not the place for sample, it plays for the truth. And the truth is, Mr. Zimmerman did not hunt, he did not plan, he did not hate. He feared for his life, and in the moment he believed that he would die, he acted to survive. Don't condemn the man for defending himself. Don't send a message that fear is forbidden or that the right is to protect your life must be convenient. Return the only just verdict in this case to your honor, which is not guilty. What did Mr. George Mann did? He did in self-defense, which is his absolute right. That's all, your honor. Much obliged.
All right. Is there a prosecution rebuttal?
No, Your Honor.
All right. In that case, that concludes our round. So round of applause for all of you guys for making it this far. Um, Thank you guys for coming to this competition. I have a couple of feedback that I just wanted to get through, and then um we and then you guys are all free to go. And if you guys have any questions, feel free to ask me. But I think collectively, just a word that goes out to everybody. I think there probably could have been a bit better use of evidence and specifically showing the evidence to like the judge because it's kind of hard to follow when it's just referring to a piece of evidence like, oh, this is Exhibit 3 and Ellen and especially when it comes to evidence. You guys cannot talk about the content of the evidence unless it has been entered into evidence. Make sure that you enter the evidence before you guys talk about the content of it, or else it can be object as assumes facts not into evidence. Um, Second thing, that I wanted to get through uh was structure. I think sometimes for like directs and crosses, um usually how it goes is you have a line of reasoning and you just call that a pocket and you have multiple points that you want to make in a thing and you have to make very clear to the jury or else it's kind of hard to follow what is a pocket and what this pocket is trying to prove, and that is one point and second point, third point, etc. I think a good way to do this is to have build up, and I did hear that throughout some of this trial where there was good build up, and I think it made the point very clear for me, and it made it easier to grade. And then third thing is to go out to witnesses. Make sure that your like facial expression and your voice corresponds to what you're saying. Like for example, if I'm talking about something really, really sad, I don't want to like look like I don't care about my friend. Um, I would like try and make sure that my facial expressions correspond to that. Make sure that I'm like looking a bit sadder. I can't go like, yeah, well, he died and that was really sad for me. Like that's just not great, right? I'm using this as an example, but all of you guys did. I think all of you guys should probably make sure that it co corresponds to that, and it helps a lot with me in my grading. Um, and overall, know your affidavits well. I did hear a couple of impeachments here and there, and I think It could have probably been avoided if you guys like read through your affidavits, and I did hear um a lot of impeachments too. So yeah. Do any of you guys have any questions?
No, Your Honor, you have explained everything very well, and we are honored to plead before you, and that was honor for us.
All right, excellent. Um, okay, then you guys are all free to go then. Have a nice day.